It's time to take a look at how to put in your parking components. So I'm going to show you that right now. We're in 3D view, and I want us to get into the view where you can see your background image that's been attached to this. So I have this view up right now, and from here we're going to want to click on the edge of the topo solid. But if your background is selected, you can't select the topo solid. So if you just hit the escape key, it makes it really easy to get to it. Now I can click the edge. There we go. And I'm going to click subdivide. So once you choose subdivide, then I'm going to go into my boundary line. I just need a line tool actually. We're just going to click on the line tool right there, and I want to make my ingress egress. So I'm going to click on it from the edge of the road, and let's select it. I'm going to go right kind of in the bottom edge there. There we go. I like that spot. So I'm going to draw all the way over to the edge of the building, and then let's go to the edge of this building. And there we go. Sometimes it snaps, sometimes it doesn't. So if you need to move your lines a little further, go ahead and do that. And there we go. Then we're going to go up. Let's just go about that far. I'm going to probably have to modify these things later on, but that's okay. There we go. Then we're going to go down. We're going to make a neat little 45 there, and then we'll go over to the road there, and then we'll close that off. Okay, and oh, it trimmed it for me. That's so beautiful. Now I'm going to click on dimension because I want this ingress egress to only be 24 feet. So if I click on that and I select it, you can see it's set to 30 feet. Well, I'm going to click modify MD. I don't want this bottom line to move up, which will happen if I make this smaller. I want the top line to move down. So I'm going to click the top line, and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to click 25, or sorry, 24 is what I need. And if I hit enter, you watch the top one is the one that moves. So that's good. So I want that one. I need to leave that dimension in place. You got to prove that you are at least 24 feet. It can be more than that. It's fine. It's got to be at least 24. So there we go. So I have that set. I may need to modify these later on. In fact, I know I'm going to. So I'll show you how you do that later on. But right now I'm going to click the green check. So now I have something there, but it's set a foot above the topography. That's dumb. You can't set it to 0. It gives you an error. So I'm going to go 0.1 inch. That makes it very close to 0. There we go. And then by category, I want to change this one to asphalt. There we go, asphalt. And asphalt pavement is great. There's different colors of asphalt pavement. I'm just going to click asphalt pavement. I've already moved mine up to the top. You can see it's up here. So I'm going to hit OK. And let's look at that. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. All right, so you can see I don't have my roads drawn in here. We can do the roads later on. And all you would have to do to add in the roads would be just to edit your sketch. Then we can just delete this line right there, and we can just simply draw in, the rest of the road. And you can, draw in as much as you want, and you can make it as perfect and exact as you want, and all that stuff. And that looks horrible. I'm going to delete all of that, and I'm just going to do my driveway and my parking lot for now. So if you want to add in your roads, if you got a few extra minutes, go ahead and do that maybe at the end. You just got to delete that line and then just extend those, try to make them as clean as you can. So now that we have our parking lot in there, I need to do my sidewalk. Remember, you need a sidewalk around your building. Well, if you look at my building, my front door to my building is actually on this edge right here. So I'm going to put a sidewalk along the front of this so that I can have cars park here. They can get out of the car, walk along the sidewalk to the front door. And I like this area right here to be my handicap parking. That's what I'm going to do for that. And then I'm going to put regular parking here and then back here. And so I need a sidewalk going along both these edges and along this this front side here. So to do the sidewalk, if you remember right at the beginning of this project, we set our level 1 at 4 inches above ground level. Ground level is 0, level 1 is 4. That is because of this situation right now, because the sidewalk needs to be 4 inches tall. So if we draw a floor, and that's how we're going to do this, we're going to go to floor, and you can go to your generic and then edit type, duplicate it, and make it a 4-inch thick piece of concrete. And I've already done that. That's in sidewalk. So again, once you duplicate, rename it. I named mine sidewalk. You can edit it, make it 4 inches, call it concrete. I just did a lightweight concrete. And sidewalks are concrete, they're not asphalt. So then I'm going to click OK. So I have that done already. Then let me go to my sidewalk there. I'm going to set this to level 1 because it builds floors from the top down. And so if I set it to 4 inches and I go from the top down, and if my level 1 truly is 4 inches above ground level, it's gonna be perfect. So let's draw this thing. I want my sidewalk, if you remember from our lesson, they are supposed to be 3 to 5 feet And so let's draw this thing. I didn't quite line that up nicely, but I'll fix that later. So I'm going to set this to, there we go, 5 feet. And so now I have this 5-foot sidewalk. Let's line that up. And I'm going to go this nice little 45-degree angle. There we got a 45-degree angle. And then I go back down and over here. Now you can see that they didn't all line up, so let's just dimension this. I want that to be 5 feet, so then if I hit MD for modify and I click that line right there, then this is editable. I can click 5 and it moves it. I don't like how tight that is. So let's see, let's move this. I'm using the arrow key to kind of line that with the wall, and then I can do the same thing, dimension here, and make that 5 feet. And then we're going to just drag this out so that, you know, it's I can kind of turn the corner there. Then if I hit the green check, it is now done. It's asking if I want to attach it. I'm not going to attach. Now I got my sidewalk. Let's look at this in 3D. Wow, it's awesome. This edge didn't quite go to the edge, but I can fix that in a little bit. So now I have my entrance here. The next couple things that you're going to do here is we're going to put in some parking spaces and then parking islands. So I'll show you how to do those last two things. If we go to massing and site, parking component, this is not preloaded for you. You have to go to load family, and you know where your English Imperial is. So go to your English Imperial and then go to site and then parking. And I'm going to preload the parking space. So do that. Then we'll do parking space ADA. You can also see there's a couple parking islands in there that you can edit. So a bunch of different things, arrows and symbols and all that. We're going to go to parking space. And when you click on it, there are different angles set up, 90, 80, 70, 60. I haven't loaded the ADA yet, or you haven't, so we'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to put a couple of these up top here. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to line this first one up right with the edge of my concrete. And then I'm going to sort of work my way down. Now, sometimes when you click them, it doesn't actually place, and you're like, why didn't it show up? Just try it again. Usually it works. Okay, let's rotate this around. You can see I can't put a space here. I don't have enough room for that. So I'm going to place this space. I'm going to actually click modify, and we're going to just click and drag. Whoops. So you notice that I clicked and moved my whole landscape. So that's going to be a problem. This is always getting in the way right now. I'm just going to right click this and hide this thing. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about it. I'm in realistic view. If that bothers you, you can always set it to wireframe. I'm okay with it. I'm going to click these parking spaces, and I'm going to hold down the control key and click and drag them. I'm just going to put them over here so I can see them a little better. Let's move them up there. There we go. Now I need to rotate these 180, so I'm going to click RO for rotate and just go to 180. There we go. And now I'm going to click and drag them and sort of place them here. Now these need to be exactly 24 feet from tail to tail. So if I click dimension, I zoom way in, and I don't want to click the center line. I want to click this edge right there. You can see it barely got that little edge, that parking stripe. And then I do the same thing for this edge right there. There we go. I got it. Now I can place that dimension. I have to see that dimension. It's got to show that it's 24 feet. So I'm going to click these parking spaces. I do not want that, so I'm going to hold down Shift and deselect those because I don't want to select those things. And now when I click this dimension, actually it won't let me click the dimension. I should just be able to use the up arrow key and move these, and it's actually fine if I move that elevation view. So now I have at least 24 feet. That's great. It doesn't need to be exactly 24. Well, I need to increase the size of my parking lot, so if I edit that, then I can drag that line up. There we go. So now I have a parking lot that shows 24 feet between the aisles. If you want another yellow stripe here, I would just click on this thing, hold down Control, and then throw another one there. The black stripes are just spacers. You don't have to worry about those. That looks a whole lot better. Let's do the ADA parking spaces. So go to parking. You're going to have to load those in place, load up the parking space ADA. And I'm going to choose the 5-foot aisle, and I'm going to place mine. Let me rotate this. I'm going to place mine right here, and I'm going to place another one right here. I'm going to put 2 in mine, and you can see that at the moment, whoops, it didn't place. Let's try it again. Hold down Control, and did it work that time? Yes, it did. All right. I want to include one more white or yellow line there, so I copied that one. I'm going to rotate this. Let's see, RO, 90 degrees. Just type in 90 and it moves it for me. And then I can drag that right there. There we go. So now I have a couple ADA spots, but you can see that clearly is not 24 feet there. That is not even close. So if I click this line, I'm going to have to edit this again. I'm going to drag this baby way out there. Okay, and then I can just use my ruler and I can just do a quick check from here to here, 25 feet. Okay, that's great. You don't need to put a dimension here. It's actually really tough to put a diagonal dimension. Just check it. And if it's not big enough, then you just, drag that line and make it a little further out there. Okay, so let's hit the green check. There we go. We got a lot of parking spaces in there. Got my ingress, egress. I like how this thing looks. So the last thing I want to put in here is some parking islands. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to component because the parking islands are actually components. It's kind of annoying. They're not as parking. So if I click load or open on that, now I have a parking island. I know that is very frustrating and annoying. It is not part of masking and site parking component. It is part of architecture component, but there it is. There I have my parking island. And if I hit edit type on this thing, I can edit the size of this. It's going to be kind of important because this baby is massive. So I'm just going to click and place this thing. I'm just going to put it there for fun. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Then when I look at this in 3D, you can see it's a grass top. So if you want to edit some of these things, we're going to have to edit the type of this. You can edit the length, you can edit the width. As far as editing the material on this, I do not quite recall how we edit the material on this thing. So I know that there's different ways that we can do this. You could always just leave these things as grass and it will be what it will be. There's a couple different elements that we can throw onto this thing as far as parking components. I have my other parking island right here. And I believe this one is like a triangle. So this can be kind of useful depending on if you have angled parking or whatever. But there we go. I have that neat little thing there. One last thing I want you to just double check on this because some of these are going to come into place when you get into landscaping, these parking islands. Let's go back to my site view. You can see if I parked here, I can't really get out. So I need to be able to back into this area right here. So I'm going to edit this. And I really need to drag this thing out so that I have enough space, basically the length of a car. So that's another about 19 feet. So I can park into here, I can back out, and then I can come over here. And then what I could do with this then is I could reshape this, or you could just create a parking island with a floor. You could build a 4-inch floor and just kind of box it in right here. And then you could make the surface of it mulch or rock or something like that. More on that when we get to landscaping. But that should get you what you need to do as far as the parking stuff goes. And dimensions, this dimension was lost. Let me put that back in there. Gotta have my dimensions that prove 24 feet, 24 feet. The diagonal one's a little tougher. It's fine if you don't have, but I gotta have these for the ones that you can dimension. That should be it for parking.